Hey everybody, so in this video we just want to cover some general maintenance checks and things to look out for on your bike as you are putting miles on your 512. So one of the first things you want to look out for is that this tensioner doesn't get loose. That's why we added Loctite in one of our service videos. So if you have this loosening, we do suggest that you torque it to the correct spec and also add Loctite to the bolt. Okay, so things to look out for the chain drive mechanism. If you're concerned about putting miles on this, if creaking develops, it's most likely that your chainring bolts are going loose and there's play in the system, so you can check if all the screws are tightened, because it is possible for them to loosen over time. Then secondly, if the chain is getting dry, you will hear this also like a creaking from left to right. You need to make sure that the chain is regularly cleaned and lubricated, as well as your bicycle drivetrain. For the bicycle chain, you can look out for the chain stretching. If it gets past the limit of, for example, a chain checking tool, you need to replace the chain. Or for example, maybe one of the links is getting stiff, causing a lot of rattling in the tensioning system. Then on the tensioner side, you shouldn't have any issues with the spring-loaded mechanism, but the wheels can wear out over time. They are replaceable, but also the whole tensioner as a unit can just be replaced. And then for the front tensioner, what you want to look out for is that it doesn't get stiff. For example, if it's very dry or hasn't been maintained in a long time, maybe it can get stuck because it's not pivoting properly on the pivot, or the bearings itself could, for example, stop rotating easily. So you can just check if they're still rotating smoothly. It's also a replaceable part if that fails with time. Maybe another example that you can look out for is chain wear on the teeth of the chainring. For example, after long-term use, it will form kind of a wave shape on the chainring, which means the chainring is also worn out. The same can happen for the motor drivetrain if you have a few thousand miles on it. Something to also look out for the wheels that come from Ristretto or any other bike using this type of power is you just need to check that you have even spoke tension throughout the wheel, because over time that can happen with the wheel is maybe the spokes will loosen up as they settle in with their usage over the years. Another thing you might come across as well is wearing through a set of pads. So usually you can see the steel plate and the brake pad is the material in between the disc and the pad surface here, and you can just visually inspect how much brake pad you have left. You will hear like a kind of scratching sound if you wear the pad all throughout, and you will start losing brake feeling. Then maybe the rotor and the pads both need to be changed. Another thing you can look out for is generally when the bike comes new, you'll feel that the brake is a very firm feeling, but this can become mushy over time, which maybe means there's air inside the system. So maybe you can do with a brake bleed, replace the oil in the system as well as pads and discs, and you'll get a brand new brake feel again. If there's any further questions, please feel free to contact Ristretto support. If there's something we didn't cover or some information you still require or something you're unsure about, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for joining us today.